Hello, everyone, and welcome to, I guess, our fourth week of Education 380 or Education 500. Hope everything's going well and you're starting to settle into the semester. A few things before I kind of get into this week's content. One, excuse me if I cough, I'm fighting a little bit of allergies. I'm going to try not to in this video. But more importantly, uh, thank you all. All the websites have looked great. It looked like most people did Google Sites actually, which was no problem. It seemed like there was a lot of familiarity with it. Shout out to those who were brave enough to give Weebly or Wix a shot. I think I saw both. All have looked well. I should have those graded and posted by the time you're watching this video. But just in case, if you don't have a grade by the time you're watching this, just give me an email shout out, and maybe I just didn't release it to you. So but again, work has been fantastic so far in the class. Next thing, excuse me, I told you I was going to cough. Next thing, the Google Skills, not the Google Classroom. Those have all been coming in very nicely. The Google Skills training site, it seems like most people have had no problems with that. One or two people have actually reached out because they've had issues. I think it might be browser issues, but that's neither here nor there. I have an old Mac at home and I fight that stuff all the time. I found an alternative that's almost the exact same amount of time in terms of videos and all. If you are having trouble accessing the skills page or the skills videos, just fire me an email. I will send you the link to the alternative that has basically the same skill sets. It's actually on an Edpuzzle, so you have to watch it. So I know you'll see it, so to speak, but that's kind of the ultimate goal. And it actually has a certificate at the end if you want it. So just contact me if you need that. So far, it seems like everyone's been able to get most everyone's been able to get it posted up, but it's understandable if, like with technology if you have any problems. Okay, with that being said, we're going to actually get into presentation software this week. I actually will say this. I think the tech that we're going to do, that I'm probably going to focus on the most right now, it's the tech I use the most. It's just what I like. If you've had me in class, actually, I know there's some people in 422 and 572 that are in here. I've already used it in there. Um, but we're going to look at presentation software. I will have videos up of Pear Deck, Powtoon, and Mentimeter, which has actually gotten really popular. But I'm going to focus in this video pretty much on Nearpod because I think it's the most popular, and a lot of counties already have accounts for it. And also, it's just the one I'm most familiar with, and I think it's the best one. I will say this for the assignment, if you want to give Pear Deck a try, you're welcome to. I know Frederick County, Maryland has used Pear Deck a good bit. It works very well with Google. Nearpod has gotten a lot better with it over the last couple of years in terms of employing into Google Classroom and such, though, also. But just in case, you are welcome to give it a shot. You can also give Mentimeter a shot if you would rather give that one a whirl. I have fiddled around with that one a lot more in the last year or two. It has a lot more word clouds and graphs and things like that. So if you want to check out all of them, feel free. But the simplest one that I'm going to, I think, is probably Nearpod. So that's the one I would probably, if I was you, focus on with this week's assignment. But with that being said, let me just go ahead and show you what Nearpod's all about. And let me grab a drink of Gatorade Powerade here. Okay, excuse me. All right, Nearpod. Now, before you do anything, you're going to have to go to nearpod.com. And also, let me just say this. You do not, I'm going to repeat this because I saw someone put this on one of the earlier texts that we did. You do not need to pay for anything in this class as far as tech. If something pops up asking you for money, don't pay it. And also, I don't think the person did. And also, everything should be free. Now, there are bump ups, and they're going to try to get you to do that. Like, for example, I do pay about $130 a year extra for Nearpod because I get a little bit of bells and whistles. I am not asking you to do that. So please, please, please don't, because as you can see here, you can sign up for free. So that's what I want you to do. You can use your Google, and it should just let you use your Google to sign in. As you can see right there. I also did want to make just a note, and I think I may have buzzed right through it. Most counties actually have Nearpod accounts that you'll probably have access to if you want to use this, and those do usually have more bells and whistles. The only thing I will just note, if you leave that county, make sure that you can have access to any Nearpods that you make. Now, what is Nearpod? to me, it is basically PowerPoints on steroids. You can add a lot of formative assessments into it. You can have a lot of learning checks. You can get data reports on how your students are doing. These are all very important things that are associated with EdTPA. If you have not heard of EdTPA, shame on us as a school of education, because I think if you're in this class, you probably should have at least heard those initials or those letters at this point. EdTPA is our capstone in the school of education, and there are things where you do need to have data for how you've been teaching the students and how they're responding to the content that you're teaching. And also, you got to have some formative or informational checks. I think Nearpod really helps with that because it spawns conversation, whether your classes want to do it or not. I hope that, just to kind of put it bluntly. But anyway, let me go ahead and log in and I'll show you what it's all about. I've been using this now for about 12 to 13 years. It's kind of gotten, it's definitely gotten better. There are some things about it that are still slightly clunky, but nothing too bad. Hopefully, I was just going to say, I hope I have the right password. As you can see, there are a whole bunch of different things here. I'm going to pull up one that I know has some stuff. I just wanted to show you what's in it. I think it's this one. Let's just do the preview, just to kind of show you what it's all about. I have a feeling at this point, most people have probably seen it because it Nearpod got a little more popular in the pandemic. Also, you can use Nearpod for you can do it. I use it mostly in classes, but you can assign it as an independent study type thing or independent work assignment for students. A lot of people use it for sub-plans. They make a Nearpod and students have to go through them. There's also pre-made ones. Now, I will say the pre-made ones, there are some free ones, but I've noticed over the last few years, most of them do cost a little bit of money because people are trying to make a little bit of money from their, I guess, educational efforts. So anyway, Nearpod, I'm not going to go through the contents of the PowerPoint, but I just want to show you what all you can add to it. You can add slowly. This is a cork board. If you've had me in live classes, I've used this a lot where you can just answer a question and throw it up, and it basically throws sticky notes up there. You can heart them. You can actually download again these responses. There's other things that you can add to these PowerPoints, such as you can add polls and have students actually respond to it. Actually use this in class. That's why I had ahead on there. There's the cork board again. And again, poll, as you can see, I've used those. I want to see, there we go. You can also have some virtual reality field trips. As you can see, this is the Louvre, but you can go in and have students explore things. When you add this to it, you can literally just type in a location. Definitely check it out beforehand, you know, and have maybe a scavenger hunt aspect to it, or tell students specifically what you want them to look at when you're using this. Because students will a lot of times do stuff like this, zoom in on faces, which in and of itself isn't a bad thing, but it distracts them. I've also had some, I remember I want to say it was London. We were doing a field trip around the streets of London one time looking at different historical sites. This was in a middle school class. And I did not catch that some of the posts had some language on it. So students, I guess when someone posted it, were zooming in on the language. So definitely check out what your VR images look like if you're going to use it. But it is a pretty cool tool. I mean, again, I don't know how many people have been to the Louvre or will have the opportunity, but this gives you the chance to actually go in and maybe look at some famous artwork. So cool tool, and you can add that to your Nearpods. There's open-ended questions. And you see students answer there. And there'll be a little tab up here where it says student teacher. So if you don't want anyone to see the student's answers, you have it on student. If you want to share the answers, you can just click the teacher. Those are just some of the tools on there. And again, poll. I don't think I have anything else. Oh, there are another one. Oh, there's a drawing one where you can draw, you can have students draw responses. Some students, you can actually add images and stuff and add to it. I have seen some teachers, like I taught social studies, where they would have an already embedded map and students had to circle locations. So there's a lot of cool stuff with that aspect. And the YouTube video does get into some of this a little bit if you want to check out Nearpod in a little more depth. I was trying to think anything else. Oh, I don't have it on here. For actually, even for high schoolers at this point, they're so familiar with it. There's something called Time to Climb. If you've played Book It, it's sort of similar to that, where you answer questions. If you've seen The Price is Right and it has the mountain climber and he's going up the hill, and whoever's answering the questions most accurately and the fastest actually can go up. And they don't fall off the cliff in this game like on The Price is Right. They just see who can get to the top. But pretty cool stuff. That's just some of the bells and whistles. But basically, you're probably saying, okay, that's nice. You're telling me all this. How do I actually do it? Well, what you do is you hit create. Once you get into your account, let me get my face out of the way. Oh, by the way, before I do show you how to make it, I do want to just show you if you ever need reports on how your students answered. I always have my students put in their real names only because a lot of times I'll take attendance this way in my college classes. And it also just helps me know what I'm still doing. I still go back and look at these. As you can see, these are recent ones. Just trying to think if there was anything on here that, when you click, I don't know if there was anything on this session. Oh, there you go. That's from an older session, but you can like click it and it'll give you reports on how people answered and things like that. So, boom, 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 boom. So, anyway, but you can check that all out. This is important because when you do EdTPA, you do have some data that you can go back to. But that's there. And there's your it's in reports. As you can see, you can even make subplans. There's some that are already made. Such, but there's a video. All right. With that being said, I wanted to show you today, because I told you I'd try to keep these videos at around 20 minutes, how to make it or make a Nearpod. So here you go. Click create. You're going to collect. You're going to create a lesson. Hit that. And as you see there, you can actually bring in Google Slides. Now, this is probably the key part that I wanted to tell you. There's some pretty cool stuff on here, and this is where you're going to click to add all the bells and whistles that I was showing you. The thing is with Nearpod, as you saw, there was Google Slides where you can just bring stuff in. I don't like Slide Creator in Nearpod. So for example, when you go in here, you can click slides and you can type just like a PowerPoint and make it. It's very clunky in my opinion. It's gotten better. It's still not better than working in PowerPoint, but that's okay. Because if you have a PowerPoint that you have used or you have created, you can just bring it in here and add the bells and whistles. And that's usually what I do. I think it's much easier to create in PowerPoint and then bring it over. So for example, I've created a PowerPoint. I'll show you. It's actually on our residency program citing, but I just bring it over, drop it. And as you see here, it should pop the slides up in a second. It should. Say that it is. It says it was added successfully. So let's see. And you can see it's processing. I'm going to click this other here. What we can do. I'm not too worried about beta design, but that's all right. Staring, not coughing. Good. Here we go. Hold on. Sit back, relax. Our file should be ready shortly. But again, in all seriousness, the PowerPoint should pop up here in a second, and then we're just going to add the bells and whistles in there. And then you can kind of use your Nearpod. Now, I'm sure most of you have used it. When you share a Nearpod, it gives you that code. That's what you want your students to do. You just go to nearpod.com and join lesson. Any device should work. There is an app, but the students can do it from iPods. I'm dating myself there. iPads, Google Chromebooks, anything like that should work fine. So it's just taking a little bit longer than it should. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and refresh just to see. It's still processing. Let's see what that's going to do. Let's get out of here. I think it was trying to give you a clip that. Oh, this is the new design. I don't particularly, you see where it goes. Let me click back to old version. There it goes. Sorry, that was a little bit longer me trying to kill time than I was planning. There it goes. Friday, computer's also tired. But as you can see here, it's loaded up my PowerPoint. And that's exactly what was on my PowerPoint. Now, say I want to add bells and whistles to it. You go in here and you click. Everything is in here. With the free account, I can't always remember what's in there and what's not, but there's nothing on the assignment that I'm asking you to put on that is not in the free account, even from like 5-6 years ago. So for example, I know the poll is on the free account. So we're going to add a poll. And it's simply going to be who is interested in taking part in the West Virginia student teaching residency. And then you can say yes. Oh, me. Not me. You can add things. You can add images and things like that also. But that should do it. We'll save it. And you see it's here. Now, maybe I don't want that poll there. You literally just slide it to where you want. So if we wanted to add another one, you can see there's slides, classic, there's PDFs. You can add Sway as like a mini PowerPoint inside of a PowerPoint. There's images you can add, audio, video, BBC video content. There's web content. There's tons you can add it on here. I get stuck just because I've made my PowerPoints and a lot of times I have it in here. There's time to climb. I'll add one. As you can see, there's the little race up to the thing. But you have to add questions to this. So there's that. Add this again. Let me add an open-ended question because it's on there. And by the way, if you ever wonder what happened to Flip, there's some Flip videos that are still there. Flip has been kind of going away. Let's add an open-ended question. Which state do you in graduation? And you can put that there. And I think you get the point. You can add some in there. And I'll go over the assignment here in a second. But really what you need to do this week is you can make it individually in this. And to do that, you just add a slide and it will add each one. I would suggest making a PowerPoint or a Google Slides and just embedding it in or moving it over. And as you can see, you can do it with a PDF also if you prefer that. But I would make a PowerPoint, slide it over like I showed you, and then just add the tools in it. I'll pull the assignment up. I think I'm requiring 10 slides, which I like. I want you to make something you might be able to use out in the field on a content area that you're going to be teaching, or you hope to teach, and you just put it in there. And by the way, people always ask this, 10 slides, not counting the cover page. How's that? Or the title slide or the head slide or however we're going to go. But after you make this, you can preview it down there, but you just hit save and exit. And it should be right there. And then if we want to preview it, we can. Now, when you share it, and there's a poll. When you share it, you can do a lot of different ways. You can, one, if you want to just download it or export it as a PDF and submit it that way on Brightspace, that is fine. Some people find that easier so you don't have to embed a code on a Word document. You can also just hit share with teachers and you can email it, or you can just copy the link, which is usually the easiest thing. So in other words, I'm saying you can download it as a PDF with those 3 dots, or you can share with teacher and just copy and paste the link. But that should do it. That's the Nearpod. That's what I want you to do this week. If you really, really, really are passionate about one of the others, specifically Metameter or Pear Deck, just do it. It's fine. You can basically do the assignment. I just think probably out in the schools, you're going to see Nearpod more. And I could say that would be totally wrong, but I've seen Nearpod a lot more when I'm doing observations, even still. Was one other thing I want to show you. Oh, the assignment itself. Everything should be up here, but the assignment for the presentation, I said 9 slides. Look at that. I said 10, but There you go. I guess I was being nice and was doing that when I typed this up. So there you go. All right, we'll revise that slightly. Do 9 slides of content, and we'll count the title page. But there you go. 1 point for the title page. I've been asked that question so much. I must have amended this and I forgot in the summer. Anyway, must have been being in a good mood at the beach when I made it. You need to have 1 poll in your Nearpod. You need to have 1 open-ended question, and there's also a quiz aspect to it where you type in questions. Make sure you have 3 questions on the quiz aspect. If you have access or you want to substitute one of the other tools in besides this, one of these 3, that is fine. Really, all I want to see is 3 Nearpod tools in your presentation. So these are the 3 that I know are in there with the free account. But if there's some other stuff that you like and you want to employ in there, that's fine. I'm not going to take off for it. Make something that you really think you can do out in the field. And just overall this week, as you can see, pretty straightforward week. Most weeks are like this. Blog 4, discussion 4, and then what you want to do for your presentation. That's it. Thank you as always. And just a reminder, I bumped the Google like training thing back to the 29th, just to kind of give everyone a little more time in case you were having issues. So with all that being said, I hope everyone has a good day. Maybe I'll see some of you. I'm recording this on Friday morning of the 13th. Maybe I'll see some of you at the football game. I'm going to go with my son. And I think some of the education department's going to be there. So say hi. Of course, I don't know how you would say hi if you're watching this on Monday. Maybe I'll open this up on Saturday morning and you'll catch it on a whim. I'm hoping to open it on Saturday morning, but it might be a little later on Saturday. So anyway, I'm babbling. Hope everyone has a great week. And thank you for bearing with my coughing. And I'm going to stop sharing and tell everyone have a good day. Bye.